Hey everybody, welcome back to Facebook Live. This is our week number 7 and our Paradise Rediscovered. Sorry, I just got a pop up here that I never saw before, a new version of my program. But anyway, Facebook Live, week number 7 of our Paradise Rediscovered series that we're going to take right into the new year. And I'm coming to you tonight from Querétaro, Mexico, where I've been for the past 10 days or so, and it's kind of my home away from home, and I'm really grateful for that. Some amazing people here, including Carlos, who works with me at Transformational Life Guidance, and his husband Victor, who's a great support to both of us. Carlos and I have been working this past 10 days, really, really hard on some exciting stuff that we're going to be bringing to you. And had a little Thanksgiving, a Mexican-style Thanksgiving celebration with about 15 people last week, so we didn't have a Facebook Live. And excited to say that we have tons and tons planned for you in the new year. So I'm really, really happy to share that with you in a bit. And on that last note, I'm going to tell you about a super contest that we're launching starting tonight. And it's going to carry through the month of December, but I'm going to tell you about that at the end of the broadcast tonight. So hang out for, I guess, about 15 minutes or so. And at the end, I'll tell you what that's all about. I want you to get in on the action. And it's the first of what will be many in the coming months. But I want you to get in on the ground level and take advantage of the special offer that we're going to give to you tonight. And it's totally free. So getting on with tonight's topic, I call tonight Mirror, Mirror. And it's not quite the mirror, mirror that you might think of when you hear that phrase. It's not mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. Is that the same? Here we're going to integrate it into learning more about ourselves on this journey of rediscovery. And I think one of the richest opportunities for learning about ourselves is to take a look at the people around us, people that we know and people that we don't know, and getting a sense of what we notice in them. And specifically, what we react to the most when we do notice certain things in them. It's kind of a passive observer process. We're not looking for something to happen or otherwise trying to make anything happen. We're just being aware of what strikes us in these behaviors, feelings, curiosities, things that strike us when we come across other people and kind of interact with their energy, I guess. So if you remember back to those formative years that we've talked about before, those first 7 years, that we were like sponges. We've absorbed what others taught us. We didn't have a whole lot to say about that. And as we went along, though, we started to realize that certain things, some things fit, but a lot of things didn't quite fit for us as we became more aware of the world for ourselves and began to identify our own thoughts and ideas and hypotheses about what made the world tick. So these things that didn't fit quite so well, they begin to cause a schism. And there's a kind of discontent between them and that understanding that we start to get of the world that as we kind of have come to understand it. And that schism is kind of a clue to what our real truth is inside. So we've talked already about some of the ways that we can start identifying those. And I encourage you to go back to the Facebook Live archives on the drmarkacuri.com page. And you can review those at any time and kind of get a sense of some of the techniques that we've talked about already. But tonight, people are our mirrors. There's no question about it. And it's not a new concept. It goes back many, many, many years, decades in psychology. And so when we interact with others, we get that powerful reaction, like I mentioned, oftentimes. And sometimes it's stuff that we love, and sometimes it's stuff that we really don't like very much. So sometimes we see and feel and we love certain attributes about others. They inspire us. We feel good being in their presence when they do those things. And at other times, we may feel absolute distaste and not want to be around those people. And in some cases, we may have a choice about that. And if we do, we can choose not to be around them. But whether we can choose to be around those people or not, we reject them. We judge them. We're critical. And this important information about what our true self might be. So these aspects, when we react to somebody, and whether it's a really strong positive reaction or a really strong negative reaction, the strength of that reaction tells us that we're identifying things in those people that we've not fully embraced within ourselves, that those things are part of who we are, but we've not found a way to be comfortable with them. So let me explain a little bit about what I mean, especially on the positive aspect side, which you wouldn't think you'd necessarily have this schism inside you about. So if we'd embrace them fully within ourselves, either positive or negative aspects of others, we'd notice them, we might admire them, but there wouldn't be any real emotional charge. So there wouldn't be anything for us to really react to. So how do we begin indwelling these things, positive or negative, so that we can become more comfortable and find a way to make them part of who we are in an outward way instead of just sort of in a hidden shadow, taking them in, feeling comfortable with them, living with them? Well, there's two things that we can do. So the things that we see and that we feel and love about other people, we can simply just look for ways to practice being that. We can go through our lives during the day and say, you know, I really was inspired by so and the way that they really showed compassion for other people, and maybe I can do that more in my life, and intentionally exhibit some of that compassion for people. So on the other side, we have those things that we may have distaste for. So what's the flip side of that? How might they be valuable? If we're reacting to them, they're part of who we are. If we're reacting to them, we are rejecting them. And if we're rejecting them, we have to find a way to find some comfort. So we can flip them around and ask ourselves, what is it about that attribute that even though we don't like it in that person, we can begin practicing in a positive way in our own life? So some examples of both from my life to give you a little bit of an illustration of what I mean. Things that I love about other people when I see them. I love people who push, they persist through things, they achieve, or even if they don't achieve, that they try to achieve against all odds. They have a strong impact on others. I don't feel like I do these things enough. So when I see them in others, they truly get this emotional reaction from me. I know that I'm drawn to movies where the theme has a character, or the main character is someone who does that. I saw a movie recently called East Side Sushi. It's hard to say. And it's about a young Mexican girl whose dream is to become a sushi chef. And in the culture that she's in, you can't do that. You've got to be a Japanese person and you've got to be a male. And she pushes and pushes and pushes, and she finally gets to a place where through all the struggles, she has some measure of success in doing that. Movies like that, I mean, I come to tears. There's no other way to say it. So I know that kind of persistence and pushing to get what I know that I can do is something that I'm not very good at. So I have a strong reaction when I see it in other people. When I read a story, the same kind of thing. So for that moment, it's like I live vicariously through that person. And through them, I can feel what that might be like for them. In real life, though, as I said, I don't do that so easily. So, knowing this about myself, I can intentionally practice pushing myself a bit, for instance. I can practice persisting against the odds, taking a clear notice of when I impact somebody else in a positive way, and really owning that, not running away or diminishing the effect that I have on other people sometimes. And I can look for opportunities to do all of those things in my day-to-day life, and in doing that become more and more comfortable being those things that I love when I see them in other people. On the other side, things that I dislike in others, and like everybody else, and I don't like to admit it, but it's true, I have a hard time with people with poor boundaries. I feel like I grew up with a lot of that in my life. People that I perceive as being intrusive into my life. People who are loud, boisterous. People who seem to love being in the center of attention. So that narcissism really gets me. And when I witness these things, I'm aware that I'm really fast to shut down. I withdraw into myself. Sometimes if I'm just witnessing this happening to somebody else, I get into that codependent feeling their feelings kind of thing, and sometimes want to start choosing my actions based on how I think they're feeling in that situation. I get tense, I get angry, and just overall I feel uncomfortable. So of course I withdraw in those situations as well, just like in the situations where there are positive attributes that I'm uncomfortable with. And I shy away from them. So knowing this about myself, to try and access the flip side of that, maybe what I can do is write on a piece of paper some of the things that trigger me in negative ways, and next to each of those things, identify what might be a positive reframe of that seemingly negative behavior. So for instance, when I come across somebody with poor boundaries, maybe I can think, well, that person's really just being assertive. Maybe they're pushing it a little bit, but they're practicing assertiveness, and that's not such a bad thing. When somebody's kind of being intrusive into my life or somebody else, maybe that's assertiveness too, or maybe it's a willingness to stand up for oneself. So is that really such a bad thing? Someone who's loud or boisterous, maybe they just know the importance of being heard. That's something that I have a really hard time with in my life. I often feel like I'm not heard and need to find ways, and in shying away from being a little more loud about me and who I am, I go the other extreme and kind of end up hiding. Someone who's always needing to be the center of attention, that narcissism, well, maybe that's just confidence about what they have to say, or confidence in knowing what they have to say is important. And that's not a bad thing at all. So I can see that I have trouble with every one of these reframes, and that's why I notice them in others, and is why I react so strongly. They're aspects of me. I have a hard time embracing them, just like the things that I like about other people. They're aspects of me, and I have a hard time embracing them and living them. So knowing this, I can intentionally practice assertiveness, like I said, being heard, confidence in my own importance. How might I kind of get a little bit more comfortable with being who I am, I guess, and that I do have an important place in the world, like we all do. And in doing those things, I can begin to make peace with the aspects of myself that I see in other people as negative. So how do you know it's working when you practice these things? Well, you know it's working when you continue to notice these things in others, because you will. But your inner reactions to them, if they're there at all, they just don't mean much anymore. They're not trigger points. They don't make you cringe, or they don't make you feel like, oh my gosh, what is that person doing? They just are. You notice them, you can celebrate them maybe, but they don't elicit the same level of discomfort. We've got a dog next door, so maybe I can reframe that one. It's a dog being who he is. So in the coming week, what I'm going to ask you to do is to tune into your awareness of your responses to other people. What are your visceral responses, your body reactions? What are your emotional or feeling reactions to others? What stands out the most? The things that you really, really love, that jump out at you more than just a regular old appreciation for something, those things that jump out at you, jot them down and see if you can begin practicing those aspects in your own life, because they're there. It's not like you're playing a charade. Those are there. You just have to become more comfortable bringing them out. When you notice things that are less than desirable, I guess, try to write down what they are and come up with a reframe for it, like I did a few minutes ago. And then try to live out that reframe so that you can sort of retrain your brain and your body to see that trait as something different from what you jump to. And that there could be a positive within that seemingly negative attribute of the other person. So look at what really, really you hold in esteem about other people, and the things that really make you cringe about other people. And play around with them this week and see what happens. So know that these aspects, again, they're part of yourself. They're part of all of us. They're universal. They're things that you'll benefit from practicing being more comfortable with within you, so that you can live a truer, more authentic life. Is it a deal? I hope it is, because I want you to put comments down below. Tell us what that's like for you. Put comments on the Facebook page. Put comments on the Facebook Live archives page at drmarkicuri.com, so that we can get a conversation going. And if there are struggles with it, that we can sort of work through some of that stuff. All right? So here's the deal that I promised you at the beginning. Carlos and I have decided to hold a contest that will close out this year and bring in the new year in a really, really powerful way for a lucky winner in the contest, and hopefully in the work that we're going to continue doing. We've mapped out the Facebook Lives for until March, I think. So we've got some exciting topics for us that'll be here each week to help everybody else who doesn't win this contest. But there will be a contest every month. So what's in it for us right now, and I'll tell you what the contest is, what's in it for us is that we're building our email list really actively right now. We've got thousands of people here on Facebook who follow us on the fan page, but we have no direct way to contact you to give you the first-hand information on our offers and deals and freebies and all the things that we have to give away. So in order to build that email list so that we can get out to you directly and not rely on Facebook's metrics, which shows which makes sure that most of the people don't see most of the posts that we put up. It's just the way it is. We're going to ask you to sign up for our email list, and between now, tonight, and the end of December, December 31st, we're going to hold a contest so that everybody who signs up for our email list will be entered into that contest. And at the end of December, we're going to pick one winner to give a grand prize of a free coaching package with me. It's a $522 US value, 4 sessions with me to be used any way you wish. It can be 4 weeks in a row. We can do it every couple of weeks and spread them out, or whatever works for you as you go along on your journey with coaching. So there'll be live video coaching. It can be on the telephone, email follow-up between those sessions. So it's not limited to those 50-minute sessions that we'll do, but 4 sessions, $522 value free. Sign up for our mailing list between now and December 31st, and you will be entered into that contest. We'll announce the winner on the Facebook Live on January 9th, I believe it is, and then I'll be ready to go whenever you are. So we can get started. So you can sign up for the newsletter on the left-hand menu bar of the Facebook business page that you're on right now, or you can sign up at the website on any page, always in the sidebar, and on the main page of the website there's a little link in the top third of the page, but you can easily find it. Sign up. We're going to put up a special promotional page probably tomorrow, but until we do that, you can sign up in the regular links, and we'll be sure and get you in on that contest and pick that winner at the end of December, announce it on January 9th, get that person started in a great coaching session, which I think will be a fantastic opportunity for both of us. And going forward, in addition to news and updates and transformational tips and blogs, you'll also get notice of monthly contests that we'll have going forward to give different kinds of prizes and things like that. All right, so do it for me. Look forward to it, and can't wait to interact more with you guys. Thank you so much from Querétaro, Mexico, and I'll be back in Santa Fe, New Mexico by next Wednesday. See you then. And our topic next week is going to be talking about how other people are not in our lives to meet our needs. So get ready for that. If you have any questions ahead of time, shoot them my way on any of the means that we do have, and I'll be sure to answer them along either there or on the Facebook Live next week. Thanks so much. Lots of love and gratitude. I appreciate each one of you and every one of you, and I will see you next week. Good night.